Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into, well, one of the most chaotic, hilarious, and honestly emotional compilations from the legendary sitcom Friends.
Oh, it's packed with iconic comedy moments from start to finish.
It totally is. I mean, from Ross getting completely exposed in front of Rachel's dad to Joey pretending to own a Porsche. And then we have Monica and Chandler hiding these huge secrets, plus the gang creating just nonstop Thanksgiving chaos.
Right, the sheer volume of legendary jokes in this specific collection is, frankly, wild.
Yeah, so, okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today for this deep dive isn't just to, sit here and recap the jokes for you.
Because you already know the punchlines.
Exactly. We want to dissect the actual anatomy of these massive misunderstandings. We really want to put these character flaws under a microscope to see what makes this group dynamic tick.
Yeah, to figure out exactly why these scenes are still just impossible to stop watching after all these years.
So we're going to kick things off with the absolute drama of Dr. Green finding out Ross got Rachel pregnant. Because, wow.
Oh, that scene is, it is just pure agonizing tension.
It really is. Ross tries his best to explain himself, but then things just get exponentially worse when Mona, his current girlfriend, gets dragged into the situation too.
Right, she just walks into a literal minefield.
Totally. The awkward tension with Ross just panicking and everyone reacting, it makes the scene one of the funniest, but also most uncomfortable moments in Friends history.
Yeah, he is literally sweating bullets.
I sometimes have to look away. It's like trying to defuse a social bomb while blindfolded. Why is it that watching a character squirm in pure, awkward agony is so universally entertaining to us?
Well, what's fascinating here is the writer's use of dramatic irony. The reason it works as comedy, rather than just like raw stress, is because we possess all the information.
Right, we have the bird's eye view.
Exactly. We know Rachel is pregnant, we know Mona has absolutely no idea, and we know Dr. Green is a terrifying presence.
Oh, he is so intimidating.
He really is.
Mm.
So, because we have that omniscient view, we aren't actually suffering with Ross. We're watching a trap snap shut from a completely safe distance.
So we're essentially sitting in the bleachers just watching a slow-motion car crash, knowing nobody is actually going to get hurt.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a safe release of tension. Ross is desperately trying to placate Dr. Green, which alienates Mona, and then he tries to comfort Mona, which infuriates Dr. Green.
It's mathematically impossible for him to win. But then, on the flip side, we get a completely different kind of misunderstanding with Phoebe and Rachel.
Ah, yes, the house hunting sequence.
Yes. Things get even crazier when Phoebe and Rachel think Chandler is secretly cheating on Monica. They actually follow him to another house and just immediately assume the absolute worst.
Right, which is just brilliant miscorrection. What's really happening here is that the group's dramatic tendency to always jump to catastrophic conclusions, it masks a surprisingly wholesome truth.
Which is that Chandler and Monica are secretly planning their future together.
Exactly. They're sneaking around to buy a house, which is normally a pretty boring, grounded adult milestone.
Yeah, paperwork and mortgages. Not exactly thrilling television.
Right. But by filtering that mundane life step through the dramatic imaginations of Phoebe and Rachel, the writers turn a real estate transaction into a high-stakes espionage mission. It perfectly demonstrates how the group's dramatic nature actually fuels the comedy.
That makes so much sense. They bring the drama to a situation that had zero drama to begin with.
They absolutely do.
But, Ross and Chandler were basically victims of misunderstandings, circumstance in those moments. What happens when a character actively chooses to deceive?
Oh, you were talking about the master of deception himself. Or, well, the disaster of deception.
Joey Tribbiani, yes. We have to jump into Joey's hilarious lying disaster.
The raccoon and the muffin.
The raccoon and the muffin. Joey just needs a believable excuse for missing a work event. Something simple.
Right, a basic white lie.
Exactly. But everyone quickly reminds him how terrible he is at lying, and he ends up inventing this legendary, bizarre story about a raccoon stealing his muffin. It proves exactly why he's one of the funniest characters on the show.
It really does. Lying effectively requires a high degree of cognitive load.
Yeah.
You have to maintain your actual reality and then construct a fake reality on top of it.
Which Joey clearly struggles with.
Tremendously. When Joey is put on the spot to lie as himself, as Joey needing to miss a work event, his cognitive processing just collapses. He grabs two random things, a raccoon and a muffin, and just matches them together.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me and where I actually want to push back a little bit on that idea.
Okay for it.
Because next comes one of Joey's funniest storylines ever. The Porsche.
Oh, right. The fake Porsche.
Yeah. How can a guy who fails at a simple raccoon and muffin excuse suddenly pull off a multi-day masterclass in fake confidence just because people think a Porsche belongs to him?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is all about understanding his core archetype.
Mm.
Joey is lovable, but clueless, sure, but fundamentally, he is an actor.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't think about that.
Right. So the raccoon thing was a real-world problem. He had to be Joey. But the Porsche, that isn't a lie to him. It is a role.
He just completely transforms into a different person. The second people think the car is his, he's faking confidence, flirting with strangers, he just fully commits to the rich guy character.
Because it's a wardrobe problem, not a logic problem. Once he has the props, the cognitive load vanishes. He fully immerses himself in this low-stakes fantasy.
It is absolutely hilarious to watch, and, that obsession with wealth and status perfectly bridges the gap to our next topic.
Which is?
One of the most intense, high-stakes financial disasters in the entire series. We cannot forget Monica discovering that her parents spent her wedding fund.
Oh, on the beach house.
Yeah. Yes. Talk about a brutal betrayal. Monica finds out they spent her entire wedding fund on a beach house, and the way her parents casually explain it while Monica completely loses her mind, it creates one of the funniest family arguments in the series.
It's amazing because it subverts expectation.
How so?
Well, you expect the parents to be guilty or defensive about spending their daughter's life savings. Instead, they delivered this life-ruining financial news with the casual detachment of someone ordering a coffee.
Right. I compare it to someone casually mentioning they accidentally burned down your house and then asking what's for dinner.
Exactly. The contrast between their utter calmness and Monica's explosive reaction is what makes it work so well. It grounds the show in real family dynamics and financial anxiety.
But they don't let you sit in that heavy, relatable stress for too long,
Hmm.
because right next to it, we get the absurd.
The acting roles.
Yes. To contrast that grounded family drama, we have Joey auditioning for a strange acting role where he has to test fake body parts.
Right, like fruit roll-ups and silly putty.
It's weird, it's random, and it's exactly the type of physical comedy that makes Friends unforgettable.
This raises an important question, actually.
Mhm.
How does a show maintain its legendary status while dealing with both of these things?
Right, because you have real trauma with the wedding fund and then literally silly putty.
Exactly. It works because it rapidly oscillates between the two. You have highly relatable emotional chaos, which is heavy, but then you jump straight to wonderfully weird, random absurdity.
It's like a palate cleanser.
Yes, it keeps the audience emotionally buoyant. The silly putty allows you to process the trauma of the beach house without the show turning into a depressing soap opera.
That makes perfect sense. The ridiculousness is the shock absorber for the reality. But what actually anchors all of this?
The characters themselves.
Exactly. The episode collection also includes classic Ross and Rachel fighting, Monica and Chandler secretly dating, Joey working at Central Perk, and Phoebe just exposing everyone with her brutally honest comments.
Right. Every few minutes, there's another iconic joke or awkward misunderstanding.
And what makes these scenes so special is how perfectly each character's personality shines through. The source breaks down these core archetypes beautifully.
Let's hear them.
Well, you have Ross, who is just so awkward and dramatic. Joey is lovable but clueless. Chandler uses sarcasm to survive everything.
It's his primary defense mechanism.
Oh, totally. Monica becomes obsessive, Phoebe stays wonderfully weird, and Rachel always gets caught in emotional chaos.
They are just quirky traits. They are entirely distinct lenses for viewing reality.
Right, and amidst all that chaos, there is real emotional weight. Like Ross struggling to balance his complicated feelings while Rachel's pregnancy changes everything around them. Every conversation becomes awkward, emotional, and somehow still incredibly funny.
Because when you drop a single event into the center of that room,
Right.
you don't get one reaction. You get 6 competing realities.
They just clash perfectly.
Exactly. The endurance of the sitcom relies on these clearly defined archetypes being completely incapable of existing peacefully in the same room. Friction is guaranteed.
So what does this all mean for you? I want you to think about your own friend group. Which of these chaotic traits do you default to when the pressure is on?
Are you the sarcastic survivor or the obsessive planner?
Or are you the brutally honest wild card? It really is a wild ride to look back on all of this.
It truly is.
As we wrap up, let's just recap. We went from Dr. Green's explosive discovery and Ross getting exposed to Joey's raccoon muffin lies versus his fake Porsche confidence.
We cover the secret house hunting and the devastating beach house wedding fund.
It's very clear why the show remains hilarious, relatable, and impossible to stop watching after all these years. That's why Friends is still one of the greatest sitcoms ever made.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask you directly, which moment was your favorite? Just getting exposed, Joey's Porsche lie, or Monica freaking out about the wedding fund? Let me know in the comments.
And as you think about your favorite, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
Ooh, I love a good provocative thought. Let's hear it.
If these 6 characters were perfectly functional adults with great communication skills, would we even care about them?
Wow, wait, really? That's a great question.
Think about it. Perhaps the real secret to a decades-long cultural obsession isn't watching people we want to be. Maybe it's finding comfort and laughter in the chaotic, obsessive, and clueless flaws we all secretly share.
Oh, that is incredibly profound. We outsource our own need for human messiness to them.
Exactly.
Well, I think that is the perfect place to leave it. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Friends reviews, sitcom breakdowns, and funniest TV moments. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.